Good morning. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Well, it's December 29th, 2025, and we're almost done with the year. There's a lot of stuff going on. I heard somebody say to the curator this morning, my condolences. So it's like, it's over. The curator lost, and shifts are going to happen. There's going to be a great falling away of population, most likely this winter. It could be starting right now, for all I know. We're going to have some big stuff happening here. Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit, what storyline would you like to share with the people, please? Storyline for the people. Planetary situation. What storyline would you like to share with the people, please? Spirit, Holy Spirit. Thank you for the bouquet, Lily. Sam. Alrighty then, so in the central energy for the collective planetary read, please. Spirit, what's going on with the planet, please? What does the collective need to know about our present circumstance? So you're maintaining control, and we've got celebration. So you're maintaining control over the planetary gate, and there is a celebration here. Now, this isn't going to resonate for everybody. This is a planetary circumstance, and we do have some gatekeepers out there. So there's a celebration because you're strong and you're powerful, and those nasty jacks that wanted to take it from you could not. So in the challenge position, we have the Star. So rejuvenation and healing is the challenge. You've maintained control over the planetary gate, and now there's healing and restoration that needs to occur. In the subconscious, we do have a life of luxury coming up. God stated that the people will be given a life that they don't want to run away from. Also, in the midnight messaging, there was something about diseases. Like everybody's got some form of a dis-ease, and it was all intentional poisoning in order to get people onto these synthetic medicines, which are used as connectors and bridges to the psyche. In the recent past, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Hard, responsible work and effort you have put in. You've not been taking any shortcuts. You've been really doing the work. First off, if you religious folks are going to get on here and start spreading hate, that's just ridiculous. I don't know why. It's always the religious people who want to hate people and murder people. It's so freaking weird. Intentions and expectations. We've got the Three of Pentacles here. So there's some hard work. You're building something, collaborating. In the near future, the wheel turns. The wheel turns. The wheel turns on the hatred. So we've got, this world is covered with entities who wish to create war regarding religion. It's so sickening to me. They profess to be holy, and yet they really love to take the life of others that they deem unworthy. Golden rule, man. The golden freaking rule. The lens that be looked through. Well, you've got the Two of Pentacles. So time management. There might be a lot of things going on now that need to be balanced. In the environment, we have nostalgia. So we've got history. And in the hopes and fears section, Ten of Pentacles. So God stated that vengeance, the need for vengeance is in the history, and so is the need for reward. So there's that. The outgoing energy. Well, strength came out and it flipped into the reverse. So somebody has lost their strength. They're emotional. They're feeling weak, insecure. They don't have any courage. They can't fight something. They're not able to fight something. You're free. So then we got Page of Pentacles, Page of Wands. We got some folks who wish to develop some skills and explore their opportunities. So they're free to do so because King of Swords knows the truth about who has been behaving tricky and who has actually wanted to do the work. So we've got travel plans for all of the illusions that have been cast by the devil over the love unions and their love and their passion. So the Emperor is here. Could be in regret because the high priestess has her swords up. She's like, no. And because she's done her research in her Queen of Swords energy about this magician and the passion project. So she's got her freaking boundaries up to all of these pages that are coming in with restless energy. They're being programmed to come in and try to infiltrate the area. It's exactly what's happening here. Some are actually interested in an opportunity, and some are still being programmed and used to create illusions and confusions. Hello. So there we go. And I like these cards. These are nice cards. I just recently got them. Let's see what they pull up. The last couple of days, I've been getting the nuclear warhead, red button pushing bomb stuff going off. So let's see if it crops up today. Let's check it out. So you've got the Seven of Wands here. You have been challenged and you've maintained control. We've got a Three of Cups. There's a celebration in the community. So there's happiness. Whatever you have done here has been successful. Everybody's sitting here pushing Jesus. I'll have you know, my survival from the sacrifice, when Osiris said that my heart was light as a feather and I got to live, for some reason, Divine Mother stated that that was a bad day for Jesus. So you people who are sitting here wanting to slander me about Jesus, you're going to have to go away, man, because you're obviously not in touch with the Holy Mother. No exit. We got no exit. So you have maintained control. You have persevered through the challenges, and there is a celebration. We've got no exit. Trapped in a situation with no exit or escape. Experiences a perpetual return to the same situation. Trapped in an infinite loop with no escape. Engages in a Sisyphean task that never ends. There's a celebration because you have your enemies trapped. They can't get out of this trap. This morning I woke to somebody saying, my condolences to the curator. So the curator is trapped. His group of people, his army, his genetically modified family, they're trapped. They're not able to get out. We've got the Star here. So there's rejuvenation and healing that needs to occur now because those ones have created so much damage for the living and their environment. We've got speculation. Speculation. Chasing quick gains. So the Star is speculating. The idea of bringing healing to, or somebody with no exit is challenged because the Star has speculated, has gained information regarding to them chasing quick gains and ignoring long-term stability. They were destroying the stability of the actual planetary system, chasing money and freaking a sense of this grandiose kind of achievement, They overestimated their potential returns and they underestimated the risks. They're challenged because you are out here shining brightly. You have healed, you've had a miraculous recovery, and you have trapped them. You're coming into a life of luxury here. A wish come true. They're very, very angry. They want to be mad. They want to take what belongs to you. Reaching out first. So somebody wants to reach out first, or they want you to reach out first. We've got the Knight of Pentacles here. Exploitation. Others having power over you due to what they know, suffering from exploitive labor practices. Knight of Pentacles, working hard, exploiting others. Three of Pentacles, some shady practices in the dark. Have they been doing some stuff in the dark on a routine to exploit others? Distraction. So they're distracted. So the power of three that have been moving against you are now distracted. They're dealing with some backfires, it seems. They got some stuff going on. Impending danger. A breath away from potential turmoil. Yeah, the closeness of peril lies caution call. So yeah, they got to be careful. These powers of three that have been doing shady things in the dark to move against you on a routine to exploit others are now having some stuff happening. Distractions, close calls. We've got the wheel is turning here. Trump card. Trump card. So the wheel is turning. Unpredictable ups and downs. Hidden riches, revealing them only to the worthy. Reserved power and using it strategically when needed. Your power lies in patience, and you use it wisely to surprise when least expected. These people did not expect this out of you. They really thought that they were it. They were the it. But it's not. It's you. So they were making unfair assessments, and they were not seeing the full picture. They were focused on your shortcomings, and they missed out on your potential. You played your trump card, and they got effed up. The wheel turns. The wheel turns. They underestimated you. So we've got the Two of Pentacles here. Balance. Balance. And abandonment. So you're balancing decisions. You're managing time. You've got multiple priorities. You're bringing balance to a situation where your efforts have always seemed like they weren't getting you anywhere. You were undervalued, and you experienced genuine hurt and pain from this betrayal. You had to manage everything on your own because somebody abandoned you and left you there with a full freaking load. They threw your heart in the trash over and over and over again in the history. Once one shatters you, they let you heal and they send in another to do the same. So clever. So freaking clever. They saw you as just you're successful. We've got history here, nostalgia, rich. Seeks validation through fame and feels unstable. The spotlight is ephemeral and brings only momentary joy. Material abundance leads to spiritual scarcity. So the history here is that we've got those who were using love to gain riches, and then they threw the love in the trash, and they called themselves a man, a conqueror, a leader. Their intention or their hope is to gain your Ten of Pentacles. It could be their fear too. They wanted it. They really did intend to throw your love in the garbage and to keep the wealth that was coming from your love. Yeah, because it was all about consumerism. They're looking at your Ten of Pentacles. This that you have earned through diligence and effort, they were going to come up and just gobble it up. This is their intention. In the history, this is what they've been doing. They've been spying on people in the history. They've been trapping them in a love union, throwing the love in the garbage, and then extracting out the riches. And that's what they're intending to do again. They're unworthy of being called men or leaders. They should get out of that man suit. Irresponsible behavior, stealing the wealth out of the mother's womb and the children's spiritual bank account. Now they're in a strength weakness. They're in a weakness. They're feeling weak. They're feeling weak. They gambled you. They gambled you. A strong, independent woman who could get the effing job done. They gambled against you and they lost. They don't get to be fathers in this new cycle. It is my preference that they don't get to call themselves men either, but that's up to God, obviously. The father, whose reputation has been tainted by these RAPists looking for money. They gambled you and they weren't strong enough. You were the one who held the trump card. You were the one that they underestimated. I heard that there's a masculine out there, perhaps the prodigal son, talking about motherhood, telling these nasty jacks who were competing for the status of being a woman that in the future they get to bear the children. Their bodies are the ones that will be torn apart in childbirth, and then they will get the responsibility of tending that life. They wanted the glory of mothers. They get to go through all the pain. You broke through. You broke through. Somebody lied about your happy ending, but you broke through. So somebody trapped you in this stupid love story. They threw the love in the garbage and they extracted out the wealth, but you were able to break through that trap. And somebody across the distances, across the universe, heard your prayers and saw your shine and witnessed your power. And they came up and they said, "Oh yeah, that's mine." And God said, "You know what? I think that's a good thing." So that's bad freaking news for these little jackwagons, because you were the secret weapon. When they came after you, when they decided to feed you to the devil over and freaking over again, they swallowed your honor. They made you release it over and over again while they forced you to carry the blame and the shame for their perversions. They put that energy right on you and asked you to care for them. And God said, "You have been too forgiving and they have stolen your honor lifetime after lifetime, and it's not happening this time." God stepped in and said, "Not this time." This is a fiercely independent, strong, and powerful mother. She holds the womb of power, the portal for life. Who gets to come through it is up to her and the biology of her temple. But you got some nasty jack parasitical entities worming their way into the freaking corpuscles of men's spines or whatever, that thought that they were going to overtake this and then be claiming everything that you had. But you have a trump card. God didn't activate it until they really went for it. And God said, "Oh yeah, let me show you what you've lost there, homeboy. Let me show you." Now they're like, "Oh shit, unexpected surprise." Divine Feminine got a big ol' unexpected surprise, the trump card she has been given, and now they need her to save their damn life after they've left her alone lifetimes after lifetimes dealing with their bullshit, their death energy. But now they got to deal with it because she's going on, divinely guided, and they have to deal with the zombie apocalypse that they created. There's gossip here. You've escaped. And now these masculines are on overload. Yeah, because they were not faithful with their twin flame, with their family ties. They were routinely behaving as children, sleeping with their little teddy bear, being little F-boys, whores, for profit. And now they're going to prison. God's giving them an ultimatum. And he's promoting your channel, your messaging, Divine Feminine. Because these nasty jacks, these social masks are being rejected. Because they have caused a malfunction within the realm, within family units. Everything broke down. And so now the walls are closing in on them because they manipulated Divine Feminine. They drove the vehicle. They said that she was driving, but that was a lie. They're going to prison. The walls are closing in on them because they were mimicking her value, her wealth. They never had it. She was the trump card, and they gambled her, and she is fiercely independent, and she came up strong, powerful, and they are weak against her. These nasty jacks, these big-bodied men, these rapists and sex trafficking, red-rumming thieves are weak in the presence of Divine Feminine. Bang! Effer. You're coming in for sudden wealth. You're going to get dead is what you're going to get. No second chances. And the first chance isn't even going to be given to you. You're coming in. You're going to try to steal the wealth out of the womb of power. You're going to try to take the wealth of the children that come from that. Oh, you're going down. We're not tolerating you anymore. You're not welcome here. You're a freaking parasite. We're going through a digital detox, catfishing, slandering people with fake accounts, pretending they are the gift. Yeah, they're going in the shredder, man. They're going in the freaking shredder. They were peeping, and they missed their deadline anyway. They were not able to get it done. Time's relentless advance. They're grappling with the irreversibility of time and its permanent impact. They understand that time is relentless and it advances. The impossibility of reversal. They cannot undo what they did. You were flexible. You alchemized it all. You claimed the energy and then converted it into something more appropriate for your temple. And so that gained you a whole lot of profit by being. See, look at this nasty Jack. He's offering this little teeny tiny freaking package, and you got that big one. He's been coming in here and swapping gifts, swapping honor, taking your honor lifetime after freaking lifetime. He's been offering you a little teeny tiny piece of shit and then taking your honor lifetime after lifetime, posing as a real successful guy, but he's nothing but a rapist, making profit off of torturing the womb of a woman. They're in danger. They're getting a fatal blow. They're going to get effing nuked. They're a disaster, a failed experiment. They have slandered the identity of the father. They have been RAPing the children and the mothers. They're going down. There's no freaking bro-ho in here. Dude, you're out. Because you worship money. You were drinking, fighting, comparing wallets. You're presenting yourself as a false freaking flame, and now you're receiving condemnation because of this digital whisper, this bullshit, framing people as being whores, as being prostitutes when it wasn't real. Now they're seeking help. Now they're seeking help. There's an unexpected event happening. They were leaving the divine feminine to push her love all the way up that mountain while they were here counting their stupid little shekels, seeing how many holes they could violate with their appendage. Yeah. But you were saving your little pennies, and now you're getting a celebration here. You're getting a contract, divine feminine. You're getting a contract and a new family tree because you planted good seeds. And these third-party situationships are in a trap for puppeting people, for abusing their commitments, for puppeting people, taking from the one that committed to them and then leaving them in a little tiny box of suffering. Their oath. Divine feminine is getting a new family tree. She's getting a new, strong, and passionate destiny with somebody who actually is a match. Because this kind of shit is going into the toilet. They took high value divine feminines and then they did this. They were like, they consumed her. They consumed her. This nasty Jack curator said, oh, well, if we consume them, we can be just like them, eating the flesh, drinking the blood of a Christed being is what these religious functions do for profit. They bury them under the sin of their own shit in their little Kaparot system, calling themselves conquerors of divinity. The mother doesn't have to feed them anymore. She doesn't have to care for them. She doesn't have to nurture them. She doesn't have to wash their dirty shorts or make sure that they eat today. She does not have to give them anything. She doesn't have to share her space or allow them to breathe her air. No, absolutely not. They're done. They're done. It's just terrible, man. It's been 30,000 freaking years we've been going through these cycles, and these guys, they just had way too much effing time. They nearly destroyed the planet. It's got to go under some serious rehabilitation because of their toxic ways. And they thought that they were going to blame the divine feminine for it because it was her gifts they were using. There's no exit for them. They're not leaving. They're going to be stuck with the toxic shit that they developed, that they thought they were going to cause suffering for others with. They get to deal with that. The damage has already been done. They wanted a world of violence. They wanted a world of scarcity. That's the world they're going to live in. And there's going to be a whole bunch of suffering because nobody, every nasty thing, every RAPE, every red rum, every torturous thing, they have to experience. They got to understand the severity of what they have been doing here. They'll never understand unless they experience it. So they're trapped. You've maintained control. You were the trump card, Divine Feminine. You're fiercely independent. You stuck that damn hard hat on with your little light and you went into that freaking hellhole and you said, what kind of work needs to be done here? Because I'm not going to stay here forever. We're going to climb on up out of that. And this little piece of shit that put you there for profit, for money, some little asshole gave him shekels to put you in a damn hellhole. Look at him. Fat, sassy, so proud of himself. So freaking proud of himself. You were the trump card, and you got somebody out there posing as a little poser. Yeah. Little poser took a gamble with the supply, and now they'll starve for eternity because this supply doesn't care if they ever eat again. Ever. Illuminated. You've illuminated the truth. You discovered what has been going on here. You held your ground. You did not falter. And now there's no exit for these people. They are trapped. They could be trapped in your light. You may have created some kind of a light frequency cage for them. I don't know. Take it as it resonates. You're the star, the rejuvenator, the healer. These people were chasing quick gains by draining the light and the life force out of the stars, out of the healers, out of the illuminators. They're challenged because you're praying, you're faithful to the Most High God, to the Most High Mother Goddess, to those who have seeded the life upon this planet. They have set people in place to look after the beautiful life here. And the mother, the nurturer, was buried. Her vehicle was driven by Nasty Jack, and then he blamed her for where the vehicle wound up, while he stole all her gifts, all her wealth, and then went and had a good time with this little Miss Jezebel here, doing magic on you from the shadows with their little friends. It was routine. It was routine. They did it on a routine basis. This is how they made profit. They all are going to leave. They all are going to get off. And if there are any stragglers, once they are discovered, they will be removed. There's no sneaky Pete that's going to come in as a Judas and disrupt this new chapter. No way. And people are upset. They're saying that it's vicious and all of that. Well, I'm sorry. You want to go feed your soul to a soul eater, you're welcome to. You can just get right out too. The children aren't going to be exposed to this in the new chapter. They deserve husbands and wives that won't do this kind of shit to them. And as a mother, as a father, it's our responsibility to make certain that that happens or doesn't happen. So you're coming into a 9 of Cups, a life of luxury. We got reaching out first. Take the first step. Somebody may want you to make the first step. Maybe they're waiting for you to do it. There could be multiple messages in different forms. The Knight of Pentacles has been working on a routine basis to exploit people. He was a shark feeding on people. And this is like Leviathan feeding on these triangular relationships. Those who have the third party enemies, it's like Leviathan was ordering them to do a thing, and now they're the new fodder. They're the ones who have to get fed on because, they failed to feed you to it. So now, they got to go feed it. So their third party enemies are here doing magic in the dark, and now they're distracted. Yeah, the histories, the memories, lots of memories. They might be thinking about the memories of how they exploited others with this power of 3 crowd. They're distracted now. There could be car accidents. Lots of stuff is going on in their lives. Round and freaking round. They get to go around and a freaking round. They're distracted. They get to go have some cycles of round and freaking round. Chaos. It's what they born into the world. It's what their gift was to the world with this power of 3 bullshit. And it's what they get to go through. And they're no longer going to bump heads with anybody. They're no longer going to download other people's soul value or intellectual property. They're going to have to figure it out without knowing. They're just going to have to try again and figure it out on their own. The wheel is turning. They underestimated you. You held the trump card. God activated it at the last minute. They had no idea that your temple housing soul and spirit would be that. There's no love child. You don't have a child. These people, these masculines, did not love their children. They hated their children. The only reason they had children was to tap into that spiritual bank account that the Most High God had set aside for those children. They're false flames. They targeted twin flames. They made sure that the twin flames never came together. They went in there, had children, just so they could tap that spiritual bank account. They hated the children. Many of them, I hear through the grapevine, actually eat them so that they could be covered by the innocence and purity of them, so that they could cast the illusion that they were that. But they're very evil. They got to go away. They don't love their children. These are bad, bad, bad people. They abandoned love. They left you there with all of these priorities. So now not only are you managing yourself, you're managing this other a-hole that came up and contracted you and then threw your freaking heart in the trash. Now you got to deal with all his crap too. As he walks away and calls himself successful because he has just taken all of your gifts and all of your happiness and left you there with struggle, with your heart in the freaking garbage can. He considers himself a freaking rich man, a successful man, a conqueror over women. Spiritual gifts. They abandoned their spiritual gifts for money. For money. So spiritually rich and wealthy people, often, you would never ever know the kind of status or title they hold in the unseen realms, because in the 3D space, they're very humble. They're very caring, very loving, very meek, very mild. If somebody is a shitheel to them, they usually forgive them and move on, and they don't retaliate. So they take that as a form of weakness, and they pile it on, and they pile it on, and they pile it on. And they're like, hey, bro, look at this. We got a weak one over here. Let's just pile on some shit. Let's make her insane. Let's tell everybody she's insane. And then we can pile more stuff on her. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So in the history, we've got Nasty Jack seeking validation from other people through the amount of money that he had in his wallet. We got Ghosted in the reverse. They were trying to gain money so that they would not be ghosted by what? Feminines? They didn't believe in spiritual wealth. They didn't believe in the power of the spiritual gift. They thought it was all about the pentacles. And they went insane. They didn't want to be, they wanted everybody to see them as successful. But they're unstable because they tossed aside their spiritual gifts. They dressed up in the energy of a divine feminine and then called themselves a success. This is a collective planetary read, Benny. Who are they would be whoever it is for you. And if the storyline doesn't match your circumstance, then don't make it fit. Yeah, so they were consuming divine feminine. They were consuming the wealth of divine feminine. And now we're closing that cycle. They shall no longer eat from that tree. We're closing the cycle of them consuming divine feminines. Consuming. They saw her as a freaking energetic supply, as an antidote for their lack, for their inability to produce anything except a freaking Woody. They're weak. And they gambled away a strong, independent woman, the mother. And now they get to go lick their own freaking wounds. They get to pick up their own shit and they get to live in their own filth. Because nobody's going to come by and clean it up for them. Nobody cares about their appearance anymore. Nobody wants to procreate with a freaking loser that consumes the child and the wealth that God set aside for the child. Those who punish the child for existing because they can't stand them. They're only there to be an entitlement for them. So there's no more workplace affairs. You never had a workplace affair. You weren't this kind of a person. You put on your freaking hard hat and you get the job done yourself. And then you got somebody else going in there effing others for perks, for profits. They have given away their sovereignty. And they're jealous of you because you are fiercely independent and you're like that thing she's sleeping with is disgusting. And he's given her the money that he stole from you and the work that you put in. Now they're weak. They gambled you. They gambled you with the workplace affair and now they lost. They lost out. They're weak. You did it on your own. You didn't rely on anybody. The one who contracted with you put your freaking love in the garbage can. They're sitting here saying that divine feminine is too much in her masculine energy. And then they want to vilify her and punish her for being so forceful in life. This has been going on for centuries. Many women have written books about love and been burned alive for it. You know, because they wouldn't lay down at the feet of these rapists, these men who are draining the womb of power for the wealth that God has given, the life to come from it. They're so upset that she won't lay down at his feet. These people who hate children that come from the womb, these arrogant SOBs who demand it's got to be their way, that they are suffering a secret heartbreak for wearing a mask, for being shady in the GPS. They were pretending to be other people in the life path. They threw away their own destiny, their own opportunity for greatness, trying to mimic others. Now they're losing sleep because they are in a firestorm of karma. They owe a big debt. Because it wasn't just you that they did it to. It was many. It was a lifetime practice, a habitual pattern over centuries. They've caused so much suffering. And it's over. They're in the police station. It's over. They're going to be terminated, recycled, moved away, receiving punishment, whatever it is. Every nasty thing that they did to her is going to be done to them. They will have to survive an impossible life path. If they make it back, then they'll get their reward. They have to go walk the impossible path that this divine feminine and divine masculine, micro, macro, take it as it resonates, went through in order to be here now, ascended. They have to go walk that path. They have to earn the reward that they've been stealing. They're effed up over you, and it's too damn late for them to do anything. Because you're moving on with divine masculine, divine feminine, and you are going to live the life that you deserve. These people wanted no strings attached in romance. They just wanted reckless sex with everyone and everything. They liked the drippy wand. They wanted to be fake busy. They wanted to gain profit from being a prostitute, and they wanted to just drink life away. Drink it, drink it, drink it. Look, I love you. This jackass is drinking to cope. The only thing they got to offer is a freaking wedding vow that they will then throw the love of in the garbage can so that they can extract out the freaking gifts that divine feminine is holding. Freaking jackass is getting recycled. And every woman that helped this fake spiritualist psycho is also going to be recycled, or they're going to be prostituted. Whatever they did to these divine feminines will be done to them. Their reward for betraying a sister, for betraying the mother, is not going to be pretty. This is bad news. They backstabbed the divine feminine, and the divine feminine is turning their back on them. She no longer cares. She's not offering empathy. She's not going to pick up your shit and clean it up for you. She's not going to support you while you go through the trauma, the unachievable things that you thought were unachievable. No, she's not helping you one little bit. God won't let her. He said, never give it back. You will never give it back. And that means she's got to turn her back. That's a divine order. No matter how much whining these ones do, no matter how many love spells, no matter how many love messages, they got bad freaking credit. A lot of bad credit. They are a thug with a lot of karmic ties, licking knives, playing in other people's blood, trying to be powerful and mighty. Yeah. And they've been so successful because they turned witchery and all this sorcery crap into a freaking science fiction novel. Told them it was fake. So you were challenged, and you've maintained control. Your boundaries are firm, and there is a celebration within the community. There is no exit. Due to your illumination and discovery of the truth regarding an old, forgotten person. They're not leaving. Whoever this is that thought they were going to graduate after giving you 30,000 years of intentional, premeditated, horrible suffering, yeah, you've just illuminated it. You're the star. And you have revealed that they were chasing after quick gains by consuming your energy. You were praying, and you've remained faithful throughout all of this. They were trying to extract love out of you. They wanted it in the damn garbage. They gambled you. They gambled you. Look, this gamble came out twice. They gambled with you. A powerful, potent, holy, prayerful, source-connected, divine feminine who is willing to put on that hard hat, go into dark spaces, and get the damn job done. These assholes siphoned your success and then extracted your honor and wore it like a freaking trophy. These lazy, no good for nothing POSs, calling themselves successful, calling themselves your conqueror. Divine Feminine. Consuming you, your wealth, your spiritual status and authority, your rainbow covenant, your beautiful connection with God, with Mother, Father. We got a 9 of Cups here, a life of luxury. Somebody wants you to reach out first. Oh, we got twin flames. We got some stuff going on. You all are out there and you've been bruised. You've been brutalized real bad while you've been kept apart. And their intention is for you to never believe in love again. And so we got some stuff going on. Everybody's feeling a little gentle, a little, yeah, the rose. Miss you. Oh, they miss you, Rose. And you miss them. And we've got, you're getting a new beginning because the snake lied. The snake lied. Everything was a freaking lie. So now you get to rest because they lied. Everything they did, they stole your big package of goodies and they left you with this little tiny nothing. And then they said you were that. While they laid their blame and their shame for their frolicking, for their endless exploitation of others, they were laying that blame and that shame into your energetic signature, saying it was you. In the history, in the memories, but you've revealed the hidden truth regarding what they've been doing. You survived, which means it's exposed. These third-party midnight, happy dancers in the darkness, they're trying to destroy somebody's life. Now they get to go through cycles round and round and round, shocking events that are going to destroy their stability and their beautiful life. They're going to have to go deal with it now. And they're not going to be able to bump heads. They're not going to be able to find solutions. They're going to have to go use themselves as a freaking guinea pig and discover what herbs, what substances can get their light on. What herbs, what substances can bring homeostasis to a toxified and poisoned body. They're going to get to go deal with that because it's the environment that they set up for everybody. It was their intention for others. And now they get to go deal with it. You were the trump card. The wheel is turning. They underestimated you. They wrongly estimated you, evaluated you. They did not see the full picture, and they did not love you at all. They thought that you were the perfect sacrifice. They didn't love you. You were given a privilege, a promise, and they wanted it, so they took it. They didn't feel you were worth it, that you were worthy of it. They did not love the beloved child of God, the illuminated, prayerful, independent, strong woman. They tormented you, and now they're in torment because they're not loved by God. The wheel is turning. They underestimated you. You had hidden riches that were only revealed to the worthy. God hid them. You had reserved power that was only used strategically when it was needed. It was not flashed flamboyantly. It was not bragged about. It was not presented as though you were all that. It was a hidden thing. Your power lies in patience, and you used it wisely to surprise when they least expected it. They did not love you, and they are not a beloved child of God because they tormented you, bound you, and stripped you of your honor over and over and over again. They're going to get that same treatment. You didn't receive any love. You received bondage and torment and this horrible. While they considered themselves this, they considered themselves your conqueror. They considered themselves a conqueror over the love child of the divine. But you had hidden powers. So they left you here to struggle, to manage multiple things going on. They laid all of their burden on you. They threw your love in the trash. They abandoned you. But you were the one who had the spiritual gifts. You were the one praying to Mother Father. You were the one source connected. You were the one that was illuminated, the light bearer, the star. But they threw away you and your spiritual gifts for wealth. They wanted to be seen, to be validated, to be seen, to be validated. But it wasn't their gift box, it was yours. Photographs are single. So they left you alone. Spiritual gifts. They threw your love in the garbage. They left you there to manage everything on your own. They left you alone. They abandoned you. You were the one that had the spiritual gifts. They thought they could just tap into your field of consciousness once they got this connection, and they could download all of your special gifts and appear as though they were gifted. This person has spiritual scarcity. They were wielding your gifts, but they had no idea how to use them properly because they're show-offs. They're not intimately connected with the divine, with source, which is the supply. No messaging, no contracts, no communication. They didn't want to be seen as, they want to be seen as successful. So in the history, they wanted to be seen as successful. They didn't want to be ghosted. They're not able to message you. They're no longer able to message you. They didn't want to be ghosted. They wanted people to love them forever, to see them as the star of the show. They're no longer able to message you. There's no messaging. Their intention, hopes, and fear. So we got 10 of Pentacles. Their hope is to consume it by consuming you. This curator said that he was going to claim all of the merchandise belonging to the Earth Angels. He felt that he owned the life force of the planet, that it all belonged to him. It's all mine, it's all mine, that he owned life itself. This worshiper of death thought that he owned life itself. It belonged to Divine Feminine, and they were feeding on it, and we're closing the cycle of that. There's no more consuming the Divine Feminine for this 10 of Pentacles. Freaking lowlife. SOB. There's no drinking. You don't have any alcohol issues. They couldn't drive you into addictions. Uninvited guests. You're not having drinks with an uninvited guest. You're no longer entertaining uninvited guests. These people who push in on the energy and demand your attention, you're no longer serving them. You're no longer serving them drinks. They will no longer feed on your supply. They're weak. They're weak-ass brojos. Their energy is filth. They're disgusting. They're out there full of all this nasty energy, calling themselves independent. They gambled an independent woman. They gambled her. She got the job done all on her freaking own while these little nasty jacks were smiling for freaking cameras, getting their little schwankster hard for their little Jezebel. There's no workplace affair. Get out of here. Freaking nasty. They're not worthy of being in a man suit, let alone calling themselves a father, a brother, a husband, or a friend. Absolutely not. They're sick. Their priorities are screwed up. They got to go experience the nasty shit that they did to people so that they can understand their ways aren't successful. And this isn't a mindset of vengeance. It's a mindset of save your damn soul, man. Understand what it is you're doing. Don't be an effing hateful animal. You know, animals love their children. A leopard, I just watched a video the other day. A leopard or cheetah killed a baboon. But while they were dragging the baboon into the tree, a baby came out of the baboon. So the cheetah left the baboon there and went and chased down the baby and then raised the baby. So this is weird. You know, mothers love the babies, and it doesn't matter what ethnicity, what species, whatever. The mothers love the babies, but these guys love to consume them, to sacrifice them to the devil for money. They hate the children. They're there only to torment and gain a freaking prize out of. They're sickening. Third party affairs. So there's no workplace affairs. There's no more affairs with these third parties. No more mistresses. No more affairs. We got a workplace affair in the reverse, and then we've got, so you weren't involved in workplace affairs. You did it all on your own, but then you've got this here. What's going on with that? They're in a strength reversed. They're in a strength reverse. They gambled a fiercely independent woman who put her nose to the grinder and got it done. They did not sex anybody up. They did not hijack or step on or get on board somebody else's train. They suffered through the hate and the abuse. And there's a change. It was taboo for these people to tap into the divine and then use their gifts to hurt other people. This sixth sense is going silent. These nasty jacks are going to lose all of their clairs. They will not have access to any of it. They will not be able to bump heads with anybody and download anybody's soul value or intellectual property. It's not going to happen. You have ascended and you have solved the freaking problem of this clown and their performance. And it's divine timing. Divine timing. They're in eternal regret because the sun is setting on them. The night is falling. They're being disconnected from your light because of the evidence that they have done in the past and all of those people that they tried to set up and get and deceitfully convict of false crimes. They're being cooled down. They could actually go into that cryogenic freezer because I've heard them talking about that. They're having money problems, or it could just very well be that you are going to get your dreams come true. All that money that they stole from you is all coming back. You're going to get a life of luxury, and that's the law. The scales are being balanced here. You know, what these addicted, those who were addicted to the apple, fiercely independent women, they've been consuming them and then portraying themselves as powerful beings. They've been consuming the womb of power and then calling themselves successful. They're disgusting. Every last one of them. And those who say water is a privilege, not a right, may they go without. Damn it. Golden freaking rule. Nasty freaking jacks, man. They came after a fiercely independent woman with natural born talents and skills for alchemy. Planetary stabilizers is what the divine feminine is. She's deeply rooted, highly crowned, stable here. And you got these nasty jacks who came in and chopped down those trees and ate it. These are bark beetles. They're disgusting little parasites. They're not supposed to be in the region. Uninvited guests. Uninvited guests. We're no longer offering drinks to. We're no longer being friendly with because they've been consuming the freaking divine feminine and all of her wealth. And their favorite weapon of war is relationship, is contracts. This is how they've been doing it. There's divine intervention here, serendipity, because of this trash that is here. There is a commitment, promise, pledge that the home will be a refuge. It will be a safe haven. Children can play on their bikes without supervision all freaking day long, and nobody's going to come up, poison them, rape them, steal them, red rum them. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a safe place. And you got to take it seriously. And the thing about this is divine feminine tried to save the souls of these people. And what they did was they framed her for a crime. They sacrificed her, and they've been rotating her through life and birth, torture, bondage. And yet she put on that freaking hard hat and she got it done anyway. All these freaking men out here trying to consume, trying to project. The animal friends are running away. Those genetically modified beings are running away because you're the crown, you're the key, and you have found the core of the problem. You came, you were convicted deceitfully, you fell to tell. You collected all of the evidence that needed to be collected, and you presented it in the superior courts, and the truth is now known. You were always royal, and you were always loyal, and you always had the best interest of those people in mind. And they tortured you for it, for your love, for your care. They threw it in the damn trash. But you were the one who had the spiritual gifts that could protect them from this stupid crime. And they left you alone and brutalized you. Stealing everything from you, pulling up all of your seeds. Now, this is the end of their opportunity. The end of their opportunity to have a bedroom, to have a house, to have anybody there to serve them at all, because you're wide awake and firm of mind, and you're letting go of the damn shadow dweller. Sneaky effing Pete. And you're about ready to meet your true person that you have been looking for. This twin flame that these ones have been keeping you separated from. And now there's unfinished business for the street exhibits. You're gonna go home. They trapped you and then abused you and used you and made you appear to be such, but you are purity itself, and you're breaking up with the effing mirror, the copycat, the catfish, the mutant. And you're gonna get reconciled, because what you always hoped for, this wish come true, an understanding, a repair. You are the cure. You're the antidote. This curator has always called you that. And this is what you are for any community that you enter. You are this wonderful, big, gifted, big powerhouse. You could be the mystery, or maybe you've just shined a light on the mystery that was here, enshrouding everything and everybody. You were the trump card, and you got somebody out there wearing your damn name, playing with your timelines, because you're also most likely a god or a goddess of time, and they trapped and then exploited that. They created timelines of slavery, slave races, and these idiots. You've maintained control. There is a celebration. You have brought illumination to the truth. There is no exit for this forgotten person, this past friend. Soul contract. The lessons you learned from this scenario will never be forgotten. Everything that you have learned, everything that you have endured, every skill and every knowing that you have encountered and achieved throughout this process during your fierce, independent path will be passed on to your lineage. You're the star, and you've been praying. You're the star. You've illuminated these nasty jacks and their janets or whatever, seeking quick gains, consuming divine feminine, stealing her big box of spiritual gifts and all of these beautiful, wealthy things. They took a chance. They gambled you. They can't gossip about it. There's no gossip. They can't even talk about you anymore. The gossip that they were telling about you failed. Nobody believes it anymore. You're coming into the 9 of Cups life of luxury. We're reaching out first. Twin flames. Miss you, Rose. Somebody misses you, Rose. You're going to get to rest because this snake lied all about you. You're getting a new beginning. You're getting a new beginning, and they won't be able to tap into it at all. They'll never be served by you. They'll never drink from your cup. I don't know if God's going to allow them to retain the memory of you and the way they abused you. I don't know. I would prefer if they didn't have the memory, because I don't want them to try to energetically connect to anybody through that memory. I don't want them to try to cord to anybody that they have already hurt so egregiously in the future. They've been found guilty. The snake has been found guilty. You're getting a new beginning because of all of the pain that you have withstood, all of the pain that you survived independently by yourself. Knight of Pentacles has been exploiting people. This could be Leviathan. They could have been feeding whole entire groups of people to the Leviathan in the history, the hidden truth of what's been happening under the water. Feeding the secret treasure. Secret. The hidden truth. You've revealed the hidden truth regarding these secrets. The party of 3 is there, distracted. They're going to get some cycles where they're going to be triggered, and they're going to have to deal with some bad stuff, and they're going to have to do it on their own without bumping heads with anybody. They may have to live alone, be alone, manage their own rent, their own car payment, their own insurance, their own food, their own care, their own clothes, their own everything. They're going to have to do what the boss says or get fired, and they won't be able to afford anything. They're going to learn what it was that they were doing to everybody, and they're going to have to survive it. An impossible path. If they survive, they'll get their reward. That's what I heard last night. If they survive this impossible path that they forced this independent woman to traverse on her own, while they were throwing her heart in the trash, while they were trashing her heart, hurting her, consuming her, she was still making advancements. She was still moving forward, even while nasty freaking Jack was consuming her. They sabotage themselves. They have to go walk the walk now. Now they have to go practice what they preach. Now they have to go prove themselves worthy of that which they tried to take from you. You have an honorary membership to something because of what they did to you. It was so awful. You have no memories, but it was awful, horrible, horrible, torturous brutality that these men did to the feminines and the masculines, because, you know, what they were doing to the masculines was a lot more sneaky. It wasn't so obvious, but they were messing with their chemistry and their minds and getting them, many of them, to participate in the hurting of the mothers and the children that came from them. responsibilities. They did not love the child. They tormented you and the child. Those of responsible family units, they really did their best to tear you apart, to destroy you. They didn't want God's family to continue. But you never gave up hope. But you never gave up hope. So we got the Two of Pentacles here. They left you here to manage all of this stuff. They abandoned you and your spiritual gifts. They left you here single, isolated, alone. And the value system was just too different. You were all about adding value to your soul. And these assholes were all about extracting that value out of your soul, consuming it. In the history, and they called themselves successful because they could get a relationship and then drain the value out of your soul. There's no messaging, no more communication, because you're not ghosted. Or maybe they didn't want to be ghosted, so they did all that, but you're not ghosted. So their idea of success, you're not being ghosted. They can no longer message you. They can no longer contact you. There's no forgiveness for what they have done here. They tried to destroy you. They were consuming your soul value over centuries. They were extracting your honor and then piling all of the shame and the blame for their perverted, disgusting ways onto you. They were transferring it to you. Ten of Pentacles, they were consuming the divine feminine. We're closing the cycle. We're no longer offering drinks to this uninvited guest. There's a big change here. They made mistakes. They wish they could right their wrongs, and they simply can't. They're done here. They're done. We're closing the cycle of them feeding on divine feminines. They're done. These worthless jacks. Thank you, Jimmy Johnson. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Can I click that heart there? Oh, thank you. So now they don't have any strength. Strength in the reverse. They took a gamble with a fiercely independent woman who was not working any workplace affairs. She was not sleeping with anybody. She put on that hard hat and she did the hard damn work. She wasn't in a third place affair. You got these third parties here. What's going on with these third parties? So she wasn't involved in the workplace affairs. She wasn't involved in this nasty crap that everybody else was doing to try to get ahead. She didn't prostitute herself. She put on the damn hard hat and she did the work of a man because a man abandoned her. And then the man walks around slandering her for being in her masculine energy. And it's like, I'm sorry, nasty Jack. Are you weeping somewhere? Do you need to go see the doctor? They lied about you. They lied about you. So you never did this. This was not you. You put on the hard hat and you did the damn work and you did it alone. Because every time you dared to love, these assholes were trying to get a hold of that love and throw it in the trash. They thought you were a dime a dozen, that you didn't matter. They didn't see that the value of your soul was what you were adding to it by simply existing. And they were coming in. You were left there alone, and they were coming in, and they kept taking the value of your soul. They kept freaking consuming it in the history and calling themselves successful. You did not do this. You were not prostituting yourself at all. These third-party enemies were lying. You didn't sleep with them. There was no entanglement. If there was, it happened in the dream state. They got a false contract in the dream state, in the 4D, and then they decided to slander you. It was all a freaking lie. You didn't do that. You put on your damn hard hat and you got busy. They lied about you having an affair. Whoever this asshole was that lied about you having an affair, they outright red-rummed you in the past and they took it from you. Your wealth, your honor, your status. They red-rummed you in a horrible way. They were torturous and brutal. And then they lied and called you a prostitute. And you never did that. You did the hard damn work. And now they're getting detached. They detached their own damn selves and now they're going to stay there. They neglected you. They took everything from you, neglected you, called you a prostitute when you never did that. You put on that damn hard hat and did the work that they were siphoning out of you because they are addicted whores looking for a free freaking ride. Daydreaming of being seen, fiercely independent and stable and worthy, like you. They're being held back from future commitments because they're foul. They're the most foul presence ever in existence. They don't even love the children. You are reunited with the suns and the stars, with the divine, and you're getting a new chapter because you have revealed the truth about this nasty catfishing copycat hoe bag and her stupid little masculine parasitical friend here, running their passion project on irreplaceable beings so that they can sacrifice them to the shadow and steal their destiny. Excuse me. They're disgusting. They're sick. And they're getting recycled. They're getting recycled. God is going to reclaim those genetics that they were using in their little experimentations to come up with a holier than thou species. Yeah, they thought it was real funny to hurt you. And now everything they did to the self-loving, healing people is going to be done to them. You're going to get reciprocity as you deserve it. And it's too late for them to do anything about it. They missed their opportunity to be with you. And there's a lot of conversation happening about their habitual patterns. There's an understanding of what they've been doing here. Their selfish little ways. They're feeling broken and shattered because you've escaped. And now they're left with the pain that they have caused. They could not separate you from love. They did not appreciate the beauty you offered. And now they're confused and running away, found unworthy of a soul tie. They're not going to get any more soul ties. They will never, ever, ever bind themselves to another living being. They will become worthy of such a thing, or they will not. They have red-rummed and raped and tortured the mother for trying to protect the children from devious pieces of crap like this. They run around and they vilify the mother, calling her a prostitute when she's just trying to protect the damn children that are coming from her freaking womb. They're vile. They don't have a right to be here. They have failed so egregiously to be a father, a husband, a friend, a protector, a guide, a guardian, a provider. What these assholes did was magic over the womb. Some of you have had miscarriages over and over again because these fuckers were sacrificing your children. And they want to come on here and be slanderous with their cruelty. So you've maintained control. There is a celebration here. You've illuminated the truth about what has been happening here. There is no exit from this forgotten person that sacrificed you long ago and has been claiming to be a rich man when you were the one holding the trump card all along. They were just a fraud, a fake, a phony, a sleazeball, a brutalizer who needs to get out of that man suit. They don't have the right or the privilege, as far as I'm concerned. They should get out of that. I'm hoping God will kick them right out of that for what they've done to the reputation of the man on the dark side. These people have a contract with the dark side. This fake person, this forgotten person, has a soul contract with the dark side, and they've been feeding the light-bearing divine feminine, the apples, to it. These are the sacrifices that they have been feeding on and calling themselves wealthy. They've been buying and selling, extracting the energy, the power of those whims, and then they have been selling that energy to low vibrational bullshit artists so that they, who were doing their bidding, going out and finding more energy and harvesting it. Yes, it was a big, big, beautiful, profitable business. Defiling the power of the womb. You revealed this chasing quick games, this scheme. You are a prayerful person connected to Source Creator. They took a chance. They gambled with you. Nobody's gossiping. They have no gossip. There's nothing they can say about it. You're no longer alone. You're no longer alone. You prayed and your prayers were answered. So you're coming into your 9 of Cups. Reaching out first. Twin flames miss you, Rose. The snake was a liar. You're getting a new beginning. They've been found guilty and now they're having anxiety. The Knight of Pentacles was exploiting people, feeding them to the Leviathan. You've revealed the memories, the hidden truth of these secrets. These secrets, how they were getting treasure. They were draining it out of the divine feminine, the apple of God's tree, family tree. They've been consuming the light-bearing people coming out of God's family tree. The power of 3 here is now distracted. They've got a whole lot of round and round and round to go where they got to deal with trauma and triggers. And there's no bumping heads. They're going to have to do it alone. They're going to have to suffer this experience alone. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to seem impossible. And it will be, because that's the way they set it up. They knew that they were never going to be able to graduate up out of something like this. And now they get to go walk the path because you did graduate out of something like that. They're stuck in this rabbit hole. They got to go try to get their own damn self out of it without bumping heads with anybody, without receiving any assistance from anybody. They got to go become what is necessary to earn the reward that they have brutalized everybody so freaking horrendously for. While that abuse is returned to them, they have to try to get up out of that hole. The wheel is turning. They underestimated you. They misvalued you. They did not see what your prayers were. They did not see your spiritual gifts. They did not see your devotion to the divine. They said, because you're not believing the way they believe, they said, because you don't believe this story that they tell you, you have to believe, they considered you a fraud, a phony, a fake. But when the whole entire schmuck board scored of them came against you with the most brutal effort possible that they could drum up, you still, fiercely independent woman, pulled yourself up out of that. You put that hard hat on and you got it done. You hold the trump card. Everybody else is a fraud. Looking for a damn exit plan. Those who did not keep their promises are looking for a damn exit plan. They didn't see this coming. They came for the wrong freaking one when they came for you. They did not see this coming. You managed yourself well, even though you were abandoned. You had spiritual gifts that helped you pull you through, and you did it alone, single, isolated, all by your freaking self. The value system was too different. You were adding value to your soul, and this little jackass was consuming it. And calling himself great. calling himself great, calling himself a man, a conqueror of woman. Whoo! You're not a weed seed. You are settled, stable, always. They threw you away, the stabilizer. You were the stabilizer, and they threw you away. Called you a dime a dozen. Called you a prostitute, and you were never that. They lied. Foul pieces of shit. They know who they are. They know who they are. He knows who he is. If I were a rich man, da 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 da. If I were a rich man, da 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 da. You're leaving. You're taking your big old present and you're leaving. There's no forgiveness. They ghosted you. They don't want to be ghosted anymore. They did all of this because they wanted to be recognized as a big man on the block by Shady Jane. Oh yeah. Come on, Shady Jane. I'm rich. Oh yeah. Come on, Shady Jane. And then they were calling you a dime a dozen. There's no more messaging, no more contact, no more contracts. You are leaving out of here. There's no more forgiveness. You're out of here. Get the F gone, buddy. Nobody wants to deal with you. You're a snake. You're worse than a snake. You're worse than a snake. A freaking snake likes their own children. They were looking at your Ten of Pentacles and they were like, consume. Divine Feminine, consume. Let me eat your apple. No. You're not eating off that tree anymore. There's no more drinks. There's no more apple. There's no more nothing. You're going to get a whole bunch of freaking accidents. You're going to get a whole bunch of freaking things to be triggered by. You're going to be damaged. And then you're going to have to heal those wounds and be stronger for it. Grateful for it. You're going to have to learn to love the lesson. And you're going to get burned. For all the times that you burned Divine Feminine, you're going to get burned. All of that. Everyone. Every little time that you stood there laughing while they were burning and screaming, you're going to get it. You came after the daughter of a freaking lion, a royal. You framed her as a prostitute when she was never that. She was here with her effing hard hat on, doing the work all on her own, carrying your ass and the filth that you surrounded yourself with. And you lied. She was never with you. You're just a red rumming, illusionist, red rummer, bastard, worthless, causing struggle for people in the world while pronouncing yourself a damn savior. Sickening. Can't stand you. Tempted by the damn snake. So they decided that they were going to defile the feminine, the Divine Feminine, gobble up all of her goodness, and then dump their filthy orgy magic onto her. And try to paint her as some kind of terrorist because what they were doing with her energy. She was carrying their asses. She was carrying their burden. And that's ending. It's over now. It's been a long freaking road. Many, many flames have been carrying the burden of these low-life pieces of shit. And it's over. This struggle. They're reaching out, trying to connect because they didn't see this coming, but love is eluding them. They don't have an opportunity to contract, to connect with, use, abuse, consume, be supported by, protected by the divine. Because they were always tearing their lives up and they were always leaving them in pieces. They are tired and they deserve a break. They deserve to be in a place where they're not constantly abused like this. And these assholes are grieving. They're crushed. They've been found guilty. And they're coming in, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. They were lying about the Rocky. They were trying to say that it was you making things hard for them. Now they want forgiveness because the truth is out and it has freed you. They're going under. They have lost. They have lost because they were just sacrificing people left and right, using sex and words of love as weapons of war. Everything they built on that plan, on that strategy, is failing. It's falling into ruins, and they are tangled up in this mess that they created for playing games with love. It's all crumbling, and they have to keep their distance from you because they neglected you. And their cup is going to remain empty. It's going to remain empty. You have escaped, and now this childish little asshole who is using love as a weapon of war to escape the crimes that they were committing against everybody is over. God says, no, that's it for forgiveness. Now it's time for vengeance. And Divine Feminine isn't the one wielding vengeance. All she's doing is exposing what has been done to her by all these childish pieces of crap. And God said, oh, that man down there in a man suit in my image did all that to you? Oh, that man tried to make you believe that this is what the Divine Father felt for you and the children? Oh, they wanted to compete with the mother. They wanted to be the mother. They were dressing up in women's clothes and then being vile, saying, what are they going to do when they discover how to transplant the womb? Well, you're going to get a chance. God said, you are going to bear the burden and the pain of childbirth. It will be your body that is torn apart to bring forth life. You wanted to prostitute the mother in these little rings. I went there in the astral and I saw you with the little virgins, forcing them to serve multiple men at once. There's a lot of pain coming for you, assholes. There's a lot of pain coming for you. I hope that this brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew. My apologies for any nasty comments that there may have been. I will go through it when I get a chance to get on a regular computer and then replay the transcript. I will block those people that have been offering us some attempts at creating chaos. It seems very difficult. A lot of people one person said that it seems like Auschwitz all over again. And that was a religious thing, a cultural thing. And what we got here is we've got the dark side feeding on those who have light in them, on those who are illuminated. This is what we're dealing with now. It doesn't have anything to do with religion. It doesn't have anything to do with cultural species, difference, color of your skin, whatever the hell. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with these ones siphoning the light out of spiritually gifted people. And they have to go away. They cannot continue feeding on God's family. They nearly exterminated the tree. They chopped it down. They did everything they could to exterminate it. But guess what? Divine Feminine, she got down in that hellhole and it was like the freaking, what is that nut? It's a big old nut. It's one of my favorites and I can't think of it. But you put it in the fridge in a baggie with some moisture and you leave it there for like months. And that's where it sprouts, in the darkness. That's where the transformation occurs. They held you there in the darkness for a long time. You got your damn hard hat on and you flipped that light on and you said, what the hell? And you changed it. So this is what it's about. It's about the dark consuming your gifts and your light and then presenting themselves as that. Consuming the Divine Feminine, the apple of God's eye, the daughter of Eden that comes from the family tree of light. That's what these nasty jacks were doing in the image of the Father. They're in trouble. And of course, they want to blame the divine woman who put on the damn hard hat and got busy. They want to blame her for being seen, for illuminating with her gifts what these ones were doing. It cannot be permitted to continue. God loves his family. They were wrapping the crowns of the true divine. They were hiding you. They were making it so that you would not be seen. And a lot of you were getting soap operas, these Wi-Fi, freaking Microsoft, soap operas being ran through your minds. Verbiage. I hate myself. Nobody loves me. Nobody's going to want to be with me. Nobody loves me. I'm not worth it. Blah, 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 blah. This kind of crap. They run a freaking tape, an unseen freaking CD or whatever, and they start wrapping this thing into the mental body. And they want to trigger your wounds. And then they want you to wrap it up with your magnetism, your emotions. And they want all of the water in you to be full of it. And they want you to take on that idea, that perception about yourself, this abandonment, how you're unworthy. They want you to believe it. But it's not true. You are everything that they want to be. And they never can be because they never will do the work. So they're going away. God doesn't want this seed in the new cycle with Divine Feminine. And he doesn't want those sex-addicted Jezebels that have been playing parts in this to carry any seeds because they don't have any roots. They don't have any roots. They got to go into the hellhole and they got to germinate and they got to sprout their roots, and then they got to reach for the sun, and then they got to come up out of all of that impossibility in order to be worthy of this. So thank you for surviving, Divine Feminine. I am very, very grateful. Thank you for revealing the truth over how the knights have been feeding people to the dark side, to the Leviathan creature, and however else that is. You've revealed it all. So that's really wonderful. And I do hope that you get a long period of time where nobody will be messing with you at all. This has been brutal. It's been really hard to hang on to divinity when you've been covered in blame and shame of karmic perversity for so many lives, So anyway, thank you for being pure, for being special, for being part of the family, and for being present. I am grateful that you exist and that you're more than a myth. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.